So we are entering into the last technical session, and I would like to invite Shri Debasish Patanaik sir to the stage, today's esteemed speaker, and also I would like to welcome Professor Sanjay Kumar, a coordinator of the Malawi Mulya Anushilan Kendra and a distinguished professor in English, to kindly come up to the stage. So while we were trying to plan the sessions for this year, I was reminded by some of my peers and colleagues who wanted to hear about Odisha cuisine. So I was really, whenever we get such feedback, we at the core of this committee, we think that how we can reach out to people who can bring us this information from Odisha and that can benefit the audience beyond the boundary. And I was so fortunate that we could contact Mr. Patanaik. Debu Patanaik is popularly known as Debu Patanaik, though his name is Debasish Patanaik. And I was the first information that reached me. अगर आपको क्विज़िन पे बात करना है तो आप देव भाई से बात कर लो. So I was like searching, then I started searching my way, and I found that one of his book is being, is about to be released on Odisha cuisine by LF Publications from New Delhi. So that actually prompted me to start requesting him how he can be with us and inform this audience about the Odisha cuisine. So more of it will be taken out in the session. So my work as the coordinator is to introduce today's chairman for the session, Professor Sanjay Kumar. Professor Sanjay Kumar is a professor of English at Banaras Indian University, specializing in cultural and literary studies, translation and the modern American novel. He earned his PhD from IIT Kanpur and has built a distinguished academic profile connecting Indian cultural traditions with global intellectual framework. His international engagements include association with the Cornell University and the Lauder University. He has also contributed to the institutional initiatives at IIT-BHU. His work reflects a strong commitment to cultural documentation that we have been really witnessing it for a long time now, including the projects with the Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts on the Ramlila of Ramnagar. He continues to advance interdisciplinary research and critical inquiry in literary and cultural studies, and a very good friend of mine, and it has been very kind. This center is being looked after by him, and he is so passionate about these cultural studies and also in documentation. So I thought that why not bring him in, like we do always, and he was kind enough to give his consent. So thank you so much, and I now, the stage is yours, Professor Sanjay.
Very, very good day to you all, and happy Odisha Day. Yesterday I couldn't join you because I had some other engagements, and I have been looking forward. To this session on cuisine because I happen to be a foodie. So, but it appeared that I would almost miss it. I was stuck in a jam for last 45 or so. So when it was 11:30, in desperation I rang up Prados that look, I'm stuck up in a jam, and in last half an hour I have moved only 50 meters, so I don't know whether I'll be able to make it. But he said there is still time. But my good luck that the jam opened and I could make it. So I'm really very happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to what Shri Debasish Patanaik, and as Prados said, he is more popularly known as Debu. So what Devu Bhai has to say about Odia cuisine. And that's really very interesting in the sense that, you see, cuisine, food is of course, is needed for our survival. But besides that, food is also a great marker of our cultural identity. We are basically what we eat. And a man or a woman can be known by what he or she eats. And that's why, each region of our country has many cuisines, right? And every region of the country is known by the cuisine that it has or it practices. For example, Bengal is known by its March and Bhat, although if I have time I will speak more about it, because I think Bengal talks about so much about fish, but I think it's Odia people who eat fish so much, but they don't talk as much about it as Bengalis do. However, anyway, without taking much of your time, if I have time, I will speak at the end of Devi Bhai's presentation. Let me first introduce Mr. Debasish Patanaik. Mr. Debasish Patanaik is an entrepreneur, cultural advocate, and thought leader whose work covers hospitality, entrepreneurship, and the promotion of Odia heritage. Educated at Utkal University, where he earned his master's and also bachelor's in law, and at Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, where he obtained his MBA. He combines academic knowledge with broad industry experience. And you see, reading about this Xavier Institute of Management, that brought a link, association in mind. For first time I was introduced to Odia cuisine, that was dalma, was by a friend of mine, Vibhu Prasanna Patra. We were doing our PhD together, and he would often prepare dalma for us. Later on, he became a professor of ethics at Xavier Institute of Management at Bhubaneswar, so I was reminded of him. I had invited him about 6 months back here. Anyway, so he currently serves as the managing director of Hotel Crown IHCL Selections, a leading business hotel in Bhubaneswar. He is widely recognized for promoting Odia cuisine nationwide by founding the Dalma chain of restaurants, which has a strong presence in major Indian cities and has significantly popularized authentic Odia culinary traditions. Beyond hospitality, Mr. Patanaik has been actively involved in nurturing Odisha's entrepreneurial ecosystem, and as former president of TIE Bhubaneswar and founder chairman of Bhubaneswar Angels, the state's first organized angel investment platform, he has supported many startups and emerging entrepreneurs. An author and cultural documentarian, his publications include BBI, I don't know what it stands for, he will clarify. BBI, Bhubaneswar completes 75 years, a coffee table book tracing the city's evolution, and Odia Vyanjan, classic Odia recipes, a curated collection celebrating traditional cuisine. His work continues to focus on tourism and hospitality, entrepreneurship development, and the preservation and promotion of Odia cultural heritage. So friends, give a big hand for Mr. Devu Bhai, and we look forward to his presentation, and hopefully after his presentation there will be something Odia by way of lunch also. I hope, but I don't know. Anyway, please, you are most welcome.
Before I get into talking about all this Odia cuisine, let me first congratulate the organizers for planning such a wonderful event. out here in Banaras talking about no Odia, no Odisha. But how many of you in this room are not from Odisha? Could you raise your hands, please? Oh, wow. I never thought. I thought it was mostly Odias here. Anyways. And thanks for, first is, thanks for planning a session on cuisine, which hardly happens. Though it is something that is so intricately involved in our life, we generally don't talk about cuisine. Culture has other components, but cuisine doesn't come. So I am quite happy that cuisine has been part of this initiative. I'm more so honored that I have been invited here. And I'm pretty sure that in this campus, first time somebody is talking about cuisine, and that too Odia cuisine. So my privilege, my honor. As you have heard by Sanjay Sir and Pradosh ji, that I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm not an academician, so my communication skills are not up to mark. So kindly accommodate me whenever I fail or do a slip. But coming back to the, sorry? चलिए ले
गाड़ी क्यों लगी है गाड़ी क्यों लगी है हाँ
Before I talk about Odia cuisine, let me talk about Odias. I'm a little surprised that, as Sanjay sir said, that Odia cuisine has not been talked about much. That is surprising because one thing Odias can't stop talking about in a day is food. And their day starts with food, ends with food. In fact, you would not be surprised to see, first thing in the morning when the family gathers, they would say, "Kaun khaiva aji?" And इसका मतलब है कि क्या खाने को है आज दिन में. And before you complete your breakfast, the lunch is being planned. And maybe after lunch, by the time you have your lunch, dinner is also planned. Not only dinner, the subsequent days food is planned. So for them, for Odias, I would say food is not a sustenance. Food is a conversation which needs to continue all through at any given point of time. But coming back to, so, but Odias have a system of, when they talk about food, the first thing that comes is simplicity and also spirituality. Spirituality is basically because of Lord Jagannath and other lords and temples around the state. And simplicity is again because of the inspiration they draw from the temple cuisine. For them, food is an offering, a devotion. Even today, in a village household, nobody eats the food straight away. First they offer it to the Lord, then start consuming. So it is offering first, then comes the nourishment, and finally the culture. That is how the Odia food is. And this devotion is guided by the rhythms of this season, or maybe the dictates of the rituals, or the demands of the community. I'll come to that. You see, I'm showing you an image. All the Odiyas here would know this. This is a celebration. This is called Prathamashtami. Where the firstborn of the family is celebrated. I wonder why the rest of them are not. But this celebration is done, and on this day, there is this particular dish called Enduri Pitha. Now this Enduri Pitha is cooked just one day in a year. And this is cooked, is rather baked. It's made out of a rice flour dough, and it is baked in turmeric leaves. Now, when I talked about the rhythms of the season, this Prathamashtami is celebrated sometime in November, December. Now, when November, December is the time, if you look at the turmeric leaves, they give you a particular smell, and that adds to the baking, and you get the जो बोलते हैं ना खुशबू, खाने की खुशबू. So you get that flavor out of the pitha because of this turmeric leaf. And this is again coming back to my previous slide when I said rhythms of the season. So it is in the winter and it is planned accordingly. That pitha is baked during that season, and that leaf is selected for that. And it's a ritual. Similarly, I am showing you something else. I am showing you something which is again cooked once a year. This is called Ghanto Tarkari. So it's basically a mixed vegetable curry where almost all vegetables are added, but it is cooked again just one day in a year. The Dutiya Osa, that is where it is cooked, and it is cooked for community. When I am saying community, in a village or in a sahi, in a mohalla, what do you have? You have different families, different people staying. So this dish is not cooked just for home consumption. Each household cooks in bulk and they distribute among their neighbors. And there is an inherent competition also between the housewives that किसका अच्छा बन रहा है. मेरा घंटा तो उससे बेहतर है. And mine is more flavorful, more tastier. And to put out your mother, you have to say that yes, yes, mausingar bhal nahi, amata badhiya hai. But when we come back to the cuisine itself, cuisine is very subtle. It's a balance between subtlety and depth. As I told you, it is very simple cooking, very less spices, and also the spirituality added to it. So it becomes both simple yet spiritual. And last but not the least is the flavor. The care for flavor. You know, when I have written something called flavor over flamboyance. Now, flavor over flamboyance, you must be wondering what is flamboyance in a food. I'll give you one example. I'll talk to you about chicken butter masala. Now, what is chicken butter masala? Chicken butter masala is chicken tandoor chicken in a gravy which adds butter into it. There is little, generous amount of butter added to it, and that's how it's known as chicken butter masala. So there is this tinge of flamboyance in it. But the Odia cuisine is the Ivara aludam. Something which is very subtle, very simple, yet very flavorful. Now talking about Odia or Odia cuisine, I need to talk about the history of Odisha. Because unless you know the background, you would not understand the cuisine or the culture. Odia history or Odisha history, little that we presently have, dates back to 5th century BC, at least. There is a major fortification which has been discovered very close to Bhubaneswar called Sisupalagad, which is one of India's best fortifications that has been recovered post-independence. Now this Sisupalagad dates back to 4th century BC. And most of you have heard about the Kalinga War, where Ashoka the Great invaded Kalinga, conquered Kalinga, I would say. This Kalinga War was very close to this Sisupalagad, maybe a couple of kilometers away. So, implies that Sisupalagad was probably the capital of Odisha or Kalinga. And then came, after Ashoka, we had Kharavela in the 2nd century BC, supposedly one of the biggest or the most powerful kings that Odisha ever had. And then follows, if you go around Bhubaneswar also, you will find probably temples of 5th century, 7th century, and 12th century onwards, you have a whole lot of temples and structures that talks about Odian culture, Odian history. Now with this comes the Odian food or Odian cuisine, because Odian cuisine or Odian food, Odia food is mostly interlinked with the temple cuisine, and more so in case of Jagannath temple at Puri. I need not tell you about it has, but let me tell you that it has a huge kitchen, which we Odias claim that it is one of the largest kitchen in the world. But whether it is largest or not, it has a huge kitchen and it is an interesting feature. All the thousands and thousands of people are fed from that kitchen every day. All the food is cooked in earthen pots. The interesting fact is, you will be surprised to know that these earthen pots, like let's say they are cooking rice or they are cooking dal. Now they put this rice or dal in different earthen pots, and each one of them is placed on another. So 6 of them are put like a pillar, 6 pots, and they go into flame or the stove or the burner. In this case, it is the wooden chullas. So, and the surprising fact is the one which is at the top, there are 6 pots. The one which is at the top cooks first, and the one at the bottom cooks at the end. So this we don't know. We have heard about it, but we don't know how it happens. But that's a different issue. We are talking about Odia cuisine. So the temple cuisine doesn't have much of funfair. It's basic cooking, but the flavor is because of the regular ingredient that they use. What they use? They use mustard, they use cumin seeds, they use black pepper, corianders. That's it. They are the basic ingredients that go into the temple cuisine. And that is what has also, brought in the simplicity into the Odisha homes. And the factor that I forgot to mention, Odias treat their kitchen as a very sacred place. Till 20th century or 21st century, the kitchen was a place where you cannot take your non-vegetarian food. Even today, in certain villages, you go, the kitchen, the non-veg is not taken into the kitchen, proper kitchen, and, it is cooked outside in the backyard. A separate stove is done where the non-veg is cooked. And this main kitchen is a separate place even where you cannot go inside with your shoes on. That is the kind of respect, spirituality that I was talking about, that Odias have for their food. Now, after Jagannath temple, we are talking about sacred kitchens and how it progressed. It was almost continued, the Odia kitchen continued in a similar fashion, and the cuisine, even during the 200 years of British Raj, the cuisine didn't change much because it was insulated. The temples were almost insulated and the ingredients were very localized. Whatever you are cooking or sourcing is your rural products that are available with you. Then comes the post-independence. Post-independence also, it continued similarly, but the only thing is, subsequent to independence, there was urbanization. Then there is urbanization, there is I would say, relocation, migration, which leads to people, families becoming smaller, nuclear families. So all these things had effect, but the spread of Odia cuisine was always there, but in households it started going down. Some of the slide is not working. This is the cooking, temple cooking that I was mentioning about. Then post-independence I told you. Then came the turn of the century, 2000. This was turn of the century. This was where the first Odia cuisine restaurant started as Dalma. And this is when internet came into our life. And this internet played a major role in creating awareness about Odia cuisine. People started understanding that yes, Bengalis have rasgullas, but there is some other state down below which has a better rasgulla being made at some place called Pahado. Now, Odias, I know you will clap, but non-Odias, I want you to know that rasgulla is not from Bengal, but they have popularized it. If you know rasgulla today, it is because of the Bengalis, and as Sanjay ji said, we Odias don't talk about our food. That is why people don't know that it came from Odisha to Bengal. So, some credit to them also. See, today I am standing in Uttar Pradesh, so I can always say Amitabh Bachchan is from Allahabad. But how many people know Amitabh Bachchan is from Allahabad? They know he is from Mumbai. Because Mumbai is where he has established himself. Mumbai is where people have known him and he has worked his life. Similarly, Rasgulla is something which was always there, but Bengalis have popularized it. But they could not touch Chenapura. So that also I will come to it later. I know there will be a lot of clapping from audience, but allow me to complete. Now this internet created that awareness, and then by 2010 came the social media. You had X, you had Facebook, and I just don't remember. There was another by Google, I don't remember the name. No, Instagram came much later. This was, sorry? TikTok and all came much later.
There was a Google app, yes.
There was a Google also.
YouTube.
Anyway. Orkut.
Yeah.
So, this started bringing in people from different parts to one platform where we started sharing our thoughts, we started sharing our lifestyle, we started sharing our culture and of course the cuisine. Then came COVID, which made every man a better cook than his wife. And that, but incidentally, sir, let me tell you, the best cooks are always men, not women.
Yes.
You walk into any hotel, the chefs are always men. That doesn't stop the ladies being. But I have a different story for this. I will tell you this particularly for the ladies. When I started Dalma as a restaurant, that was the first time there was a restaurant which was selling Odia cuisine. Initially people said, क्यों जाना है वहाँ पे? क्या है वहाँ पे? जो है वो तो घर में मिल रहा है. Now all that is available there is available in my house. Why should I go there? But then people started coming, and it touched wood, it became a success. But one thing, initially, almost all visitors said, "Sir, बढ़िया है, लेकिन मेरी मम्मी जो है ना, इससे बेहतर बनाती है." This particular dish, this mutton curry, my mom, she makes it so nice, there's no match. But allow me to say this, and it has also struck me for quite some time, that why have they always said that मेरी मम्मी जो बनाती है वो अच्छा है? Why none of them said my wife cooks it better? That is for the wives to decide, not me. So coming back to, I didn't get you, ma'am. Now,
Indian men never grow up.
Indian men never grow up, yeah. Now at the fag end comes the chefs, the influencers, and the global acceptance. Now this COVID brought in so much of awareness about Odia cuisine across the country and beyond. Then you saw people understanding that yes, there is one Odia cuisine from the state which is outstanding and which has never been talked about. So, and these chefs, the bigger ones, the popular ones, the ones with maximum followers, like Vikas Khanna, Ranbir Brar, and that Kunal Kapoor, and all these people, they started talking. I have possibly just once, I have a video. I'll show you the video later. They started talking about the Odia cuisine. Vikas Khanna talks about Dahi Vada, Aludam, and Kanika, and your Ranbir Brar speaks about Dalma, Pokhara, and all these things. Yes, of course, Chhena Podo. So now, Odia cuisine, I would say, has a right, but I still think that lot is to be done, and being accepted as a main dish or main cuisine from Odisha, India, will take some more time. But since we have so many Odiyas in this room, let me tell you one thing. The state is celebrating 100 years in 2036. And by 2036, I tell you, Odia's identity will be Odia food. Take it from me. Thank you. Thank you. I'm done. If you have any questions, I'm there.
रेसिपी है जो मैंने खाई अभी उड़ीसा में, and I know 3 restaurants I put it in the menu now. I just went and I explored. It's like a genius dish. दही भल्ले हमको पता ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर उड़द दाल के भल्ले हैं, पर उनमें जो पानी में सोख करके रखते हैं उसमें थोड़े फ्लेवर्स हैं, और उसके साथ दम आलू सर्व करते हैं।
ये कॉम्बिनेशन मुझे समझ नहीं आ
रहा ना, मेरे को भी समझ नहीं आ रहा। मैंने कहा भैया I need to take a break, so I got off the car and I'm like okay, let's get off the car, we were going to Puri temple and I've told the guy I know कटक में बेस्ट मिलती है, जो लोग मुझे सुन रहे हैं वो जरूर बोलेंगे कि कटक की ओरिजिन है, I give credit to कटक for that, but मैंने जहाँ पे खाई मैं उसकी पहले बात करूँ, and he takes up this thing और आलू दम, it's like a gravy of लहसुन मिर्च आलू की cooked आलू उसके अंदर, वो डाला उसके ऊपर से डाला मिर्ची लेके रगड़ी, उसमें छाछ, खट्टी छाछ, बाहर धूप में पड़ा दही बिल्कुल उगल रहा है ऑलमोस्ट, उसको मिक्स किया, उसके साथ उसके ऊपर जीरा भुना डाला एंड दैट गोज ऑन टॉप दही के साथ, उसके ऊपर सेव, उसके ऊपर कच्चे प्याज, एंड आई एम लाइक दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क फॉर मी, आई एम सो कंफ्यूज्ड। मीठी चटनी का है, तीखी चटनी, आई एम लाइक थिंकिंग लाइक दैट, राइट, टिपिकल। I'm like, I need to open my mind. I'm in love with this place. And everybody's been swearing about this dish. And we had the first bite. मैंने जो वहाँ पे हाईवे पे डांस किया, उसके बाद I am like, I was searching for somebody to put this flavor for me together. It's that, and people are stuck on few dishes which we know from Odisha. And this conversation will never end. जो तुम touch करे तो बिल्कुल research topic will not touch kar, and I absolutely love it what these guys do with their food. The thing is that they do the food between them and gods. It's their people and God. God, मैं कैसे किसी को बताऊं दही
New York, and also he has upcoming book. Thank you.
Expert. So whatever you want to know about Odia cuisine, feel free to ask and shoot at him. Women accepted, I think. But I'm just joking. Please.
Thank you very much. It was really very interesting session.
To know about Odia culture and Odia food. Thank you so much, and making a big brand and a dalma and putting forward to the whole world. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, there are certain things in Odisha, they are still to be recognized. Like we have many GI products, like we have haldi from Koraput, we have Binjarpur, brinjal, konta baigana, brinjal, and so many other products. So as a chairman of Dalma Group, have you ever thought about bringing GI tag to other products, like what is the status of Chhenapad now and other food systems which are available in Odisha? So any progress in this regard? Thank you so much.
See, there are different agencies which are working on this, and little that I know, Chhenapad GI tag has already been applied for, and this Binjarpur thing I was not aware of whether it has been applied for or not, but haldi, yes, Fulbani haldi, Kandamal haldi has been applied for. And there are a number of other items which are being already, government has an agency now, Government of Odisha.
Anything to Dalma?
We haven't done that, but now that you have mentioned it, possibly I will try to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We have applied for an IP, IP registration. But GI tag we haven't. I'll check that out. Thank you so much for the suggestion.
Dharma restaurant coming up in Varanasi. That's the first one.
It's not a question, it is like a demand.
That is a demand, sir.
Sir, you will be very happy to know, let me share this good news with you. Government of Odisha And I need this to be quoted, and there is a video, then it should go to Government of Odisha also, that I am promoting their thing. Government of Odisha very recently has started, has brought in certain changes into the tourism policy, where the focus is on Odia cuisine. And they have said that if you take the Odia cuisine out of the state, you go to Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta and all these places, set up your restaurants, whoever it is, not necessarily Dalma, anybody. If you are setting up an authentic Odia cuisine restaurant, they are going to give you 30% capital subsidy. That means, let's say you are spending ₹1 crore, government is going to give you 30 lakhs out of it. Not only that, they are going to give you some operational subsidy also, like your electricity bill. The rental is something which we are still demanding, which has not worked out. But other parts, electricity bill, staff, and some PF, ESI or something. So all these things are on card, has been, on Pakhana Divas, or 20th of March, Honorable CM himself declared this whole thing. And they have initially identified 5 major cities in the country, which is Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta.
Varanasi is not there.
Sir, I am coming. Delhi, Calcutta, possibly Chennai, Bangalore. They are the 5 major metros, but there are 5 tourist cities also. I think Varanasi is there. See, because you don't understand, Varanasi, because you are sitting here in Varanasi, that is not important. You know why Varanasi is important. Other than Kashi Vishwanath temple, there is also other factors now involved. So, Agra is there, Varanasi is there, I think Tirupati is there. There are 2 other places, possibly. One is Srinagar, and other, 4th, 5th one I am missing out. But they have 5 places, and Varanasi is one of that. I am pretty sure it is there. So we already have funding available partly. Maybe we can consider that. Unfortunately, what is happening, sir? Now that we have spoken so much about Odia cuisine, and you are all so proud of your cuisine, unfortunately we don't have cooks for that. Abhi kya hai, sir? You get into a profession, or you aspire to get into a profession where there is an opportunity for you to serve. Since we didn't have Odia cuisine, Odia restaurants, there were not opportunities for people. The boys who were going for training in, let's say, this hotel management colleges and all, they were seeing that if I get trained as a continental chef, or if I get trained as an Indian chef, or if I get trained as a Chinese chef, I have opportunities outside. But Odia cuisine, how many of them are there, restaurants, for them to go for it? Now, again, considering government's focus on Odia cuisine, government is considering that all the hotel management colleges, both government and private, in Odisha, would have a 3-year course on Odia cuisine, and which will be subsidized by the government. So the boys is not have to pay probably 50% of their expenses, and then we are there to take them into on board.
Sorry, what about all these Brahmins who are cooking for the temples? Like in town, most of the family whom I know, whose daughters are coming to me for dance, their father are cooking for either Aranta Vasudeva or Lingaraj temple. Maybe within those you can get people, they're cooking, they're very good cook.
No, I agree, ma'am, because the first restaurant when I opened in 2000, I didn't have a cook, and I sourced it through these channels that you are talking about, where this temple cooks. I hired one of them who worked with me, but unka issue yehi hai, they are used to a particular system of working. So they are not able to work in a professional organization. Their work ends at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Beyond that they don't work. But we continue the restaurant till 10 o'clock. So there was certain issues, but their children, we want to hire them and train them. That is what we have done. 12 of them have come, mostly from Kapileshwar, for this purpose.
Also because of that, because the kitchen in the temples is done by maids. So.
No, it was on a lighter vein. Let me not get into the controversy. But yes, if you walk into 10-star hotels or you walk into 10 restaurants, you will find almost all of them would have men chefs. But that does not stop. I know some lady chefs who are doing exceedingly well. When I am saying exceedingly well, you would not believe the kind of output they have. It is just that people, they are not in the social media, or possibly people don't know them because of lack of their presence in the public space. But there are wonderful chefs, lady chefs, who are doing great work. In fact, I run a hotel in Bhubaneswar, which has a tie-up with Taj Group. Now this Taj Group, one of the major decision makers in corporate level for production. Food production is what the chefs look after. Is a lady who looks after the whole thing. So,
what about Chennapura? You have to tell us the story.
Sorry?
Chennapura story.
It is in process of GI.
It is on the process of GI.
No, the story from where it starts.
Nayagarh, and the story is something that there was a little bit of, there's a very popular sweet dish called Chennapura.
I know. In fact, I had a friend who just retired, so every time he would go home, he would bring it for me, and he said that finish it in 2 days, otherwise it will go bad.
Now we are working on it, sir. We are working on it. We are trying to increase the shelf life of Chennapura, where you can sit here in Varanasi, get your Chennapura, which would stay in your fridge for at least 4 weeks. That is the kind of work we are trying to do and packaging it, so that like you, others also who are in different parts of the world can have Chennapura sitting at their respective places. They need not have to come to Odisha, somebody carry it for them. Thank you, sir.
The story?
Oh, sorry. The story was sweet meat shop in Nayagarh. The name of the gentleman was Sudarshan Sahu. Now his son one night had some leftover cottage cheese, chena, and he decided that I would put, he was young, he had, he wanted to experiment, so he added some sugar to it and put it in the night, sorry? Yeah, no, not chulla. It was Yes. Yes. You know, over the night, he placed it in the night fire. The next day morning, they got something which is called, now called chana poda. They tried it and they saw that it is tasty. They started selling it. And that is, the story goes, but it is completely unconfirmed. So we don't know. In fact, there are different claimants. Somebody says Sudarshan Sahu was the one who started. Somebody says his father started. Someone says his son started. So there is a lot of confusion. But one thing is, chana poda started from Nayagarh and it is fabulous to eat. Yes. That's from Odisha. Thank you.
So, I would like to say a couple of words. Number one, about the comment that he made, and he said that he did it in lighter vein, but there is a grain of truth, not simply a grain of truth, but a lot of truth behind it when he said, best cooks are men. You see, again, there is patriarchy operating here, and how men appropriate things. You see, so long as something is domestic and it has no economic value to it, that remains the domain of the women. The moment there is some economic value attached to it and it becomes a profession, because by that way, ask any of these male chefs, right? How many times they have cooked for their own family? Probably never. They, like any other man like me or Debasish, they go home and wait for their wives, their sisters, their daughters to cook food for them. So you see, that is something which should be very clear, that the moment something which belongs to women, if it is turned into a profession and if it has some kind of economic value, it will be appropriated by men. So this is precisely what is happening. So that's one thing. The other thing that when we talk about cuisine, and you see, again, I mean, there's a lot of cultural pride involved in cuisine because, as I said, cuisine is also mark of your cultural identity, and each region has its own cuisine. But that way, I being a Bihari, so I feel I am half Odia, right? Because we got separated only 90 years ago. Prior to that, we were together. And I found that there were many dishes, because I have so many Odia friends and I have been to Odisha many times. I have also attended a marriage there. When I went there, and that was the first time I knew that they were so fond of fish. Because when I reached the home of my friend who was getting married, so it was in the afternoon or something, and two of us from Kanpur, we had gone there. So my friend's family had a pond. Immediately they cast a fishing net, they got fresh fish and made it for us, right? But that's,
I need to add here, sir, when you said about fish, and now also you have mentioned about fish, let me tell you, one non-veg that goes into Jagannath temple is a fish. That goes again, typical Odia style, goes one day in a year, that is during the Sera, and that is not taken by the main entrance, but it is brought jumping the walls. That is the tradition.
And there are many things which are common, like I discovered there is something called khaja. And khaja is very popular in Bihar also, and there is a place close to Nitish Kumar's this thing which is called Silao. So there is a village called Silao where khaja is, and again we have gaja and various kinds of gaja, right? So they made khichdi, or what is it? You call it khichdi, right? So there are many dishes which are common, and as far as Rasgulla thing is concerned, let me add something more to that controversy. Banarsis claim that it has gone from here. Because, no, and what they claim is that what do the Bengalis and Odias know about doodh dahi? Doodh dahi to yahan se gaya hai, and kind of thing. So, but anyway, something doesn't matter where it originated, but what you have done with it. So, if Odia people have done wonderful job with Rasgulla, all the better for us. We will get better Rasgullas, right? Doesn't matter. Right? And other thing is that whenever we talk of cuisine, again what happens is that when we talk of Odia cuisine, now remember India is such a diverse country that of course every region has its own cuisine, but every region is also divided into many sub-regions. And each sub-region will also have its own speciality. I am just making a guess. I am not an Odia. I am making a guess that what Debu Bhai did talk about is basically the food culture of probably Cuttack Puri area. But I guess the food or the cuisine of the coastal Odisha would be different. The region which is closer to Bengal, it will have a different kind of thing. The region which is closer to Andhra will have a slightly different. I am not saying that all things will become different, but you know, every Sambalpuri area or Berhampur will have a different kind. So even in Odisha, there will be, I guess.
Yes, yes, sir. You are absolutely right.
And what we do, आजकल ये हो भी गया है, थोड़ा सा हिंदुत्व का भी प्रभाव है कि खाली वेजिटेरियन, जबकि मछली को तो वेजिटेरियन नॉन वेजिटेरियन तो पता नहीं आज की डेफिनेशन में आ गया, नहीं तो हमारे बंगाल में मिथिला इज पार्ट ऑफ बिहार, मिथिला का तो कोई भी रिचुअल बिना मछली के एनी रिचुअल और एनी ऑस्पिशियस ओकेजन जो है बिना मछली का संपन्न ही नहीं हो सकता.
Sir, to add to that, we Odias think that a wedding feast is not complete without mutton.
Yes.
See, we have a very different connection with this mutton, and any meal at home or outside, if it has mutton in it, then it's a feast.
I'm all with you because you see, if people in Bihar, if they are told that you can't eat mutton during Navratri, they will revolt. Because you know that is something which is offered to Durga, and they eat it. But in UP it is said that you can't eat non-veg during Navratri and so on and so forth. So each place has its own speciality, its own food habits. Again, there is a ritual food, there is regular food, so there is whole variety of things, and somehow I think Devuda has given us a lead. In fact, there are many students here, those who are interested in cultural studies, and agriculture में हमारा कल्याण घरे ही है ना? I think you should all promote studies of cuisine, right? And cuisine also has a lot to do with geography, the climate, what is grown there. All these things are very important. So,
what is grown, when it is grown,
right?
And I was talking about the rhythm of the season. So, season also matters. In which season, what you get.
Right. You were talking about this turmeric thing that in October, November, the flavor of that turmeric. Because as I said, I'm foodie, but I think it's time for lunch also.
And as I told you, half of this hall is Odias, and they only talk about food. Baki sab baad mein aata.
No, but you know, that is a characteristic of all Indians, but they do talk about it only in private, only within their own family. They don't talk publicly about it, right? Otherwise, it will go like what happens now, as you said that all these big chefs or these on social media, on the internet, people are now coming out with their stories. So that is what probably we have not been doing. Neither Biharis have been doing nor Odias have been doing, and that's why Bengalis are a little ahead of us. So it's time we caught up with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay and Devul Bhai. This is, this is how we talk about cuisine in Odisha. Unending and
glad that you have planned it in such a way we have a lunch after this.
It was more of a coincidence, but yes, true. And I just feeling a little tempted to share some information. When Bengalis told that they have this at their, rasgulla as theirs, I remember my maternal grandfather was working for several Bengali families as a cook. So and he used to tell us that Bengali families, most of the rich Bengali families always had Odia cooks.
Yes.
And perhaps that is one of the reasons why a lot of, transfer of this knowledge of cooking information and all that must have been transferred. And the second thing I believe is that right from Odisha through Bengal to the Mithilanchal, most of the non-vegetarian, food habits and also vegetarian food habits are not exactly equal, but they have some similarity, almost a lot of similarity. So that is where I say that, we are talking about a cultural geography, not about a political geography where we are restricted by the political boundaries. So, and the information that we have today received are very important. The Odisha government is planning to also do something about this in future, and it is in pipeline. And also our request to Debasish is that if he would start taking an initiative to establish one dalma at least in Banaras, it would be the first stepping stone and could create, and then we can inspire ourselves. And I can tell you a background story.
Pledge to patronize it.
Yeah. So I'll give you a background of it. Many a times, one of our good friends who was just sitting here and left has suggested that why not our housewives get together and start a small entrepreneurial initiative where we can start with dalma or maybe a bada or maybe something, because you get samosa here, not Odisha samosa. Odisha samosa with the cut vegetables.
Potatoes.
And with those peanuts and everything, they're completely different from the mashed potato here. So those kind of mouth-watering kind of things are thought over many times, but we couldn't venture into it because we are all teachers, and we thought that we could not be good entrepreneurs.
No, but your better halves can do it, and I can assure you on camera that I would extend all support, both technical and if required financial support, provided there is a team out here to do it.
Okay, so this is a welcome suggestion, and we wholeheartedly take this, and now we can think seriously about engaging with this idea. So with this, I think we are coming to a close of this session, and to honor our guest, Shri Debasish Patanaik, I think I would request students to please bring the memento and Angavastra, and I request Dr. Sanjay to kindly do the honors. I request Asit Sahuji to please come up. Sanjay. So we close this session here, and thank you both of you for making it so interesting. Thank you so much. We will have a small report placed before you, and also we will have some honors for our students and people those who are engaged in making this successful.